Thanks for joining us for our Chamber Connection podcast. Thanks to our friends at Speakeasy, we are here for the next 52 weeks, bringing you guests from around our community, elected officials, business owners, folks doing great work here in Macomb County. So sit back, take a listen, and we hope you'll join us every week for our Chamber Connection. Hi, welcome to this edition of the Chamber Connection. My name is Stacy Ziarko. I'm the president and CEO of the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce. My guest today, my friend Aaron Susalla, sergeant at the Sterling Heights Police Department. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today. We've been trying to showcase a lot of the things that Sterling Heights has to offer. Sterling Heights Police Department, in my opinion, is one of the best, not only in Michigan, but across the country. You have a really unique role there.
I do.
Or at least I think it's unique. So tell us a little bit about it.
I think it's unique, too. I do a lot of stuff that I would never expect to do as a police officer, like when I was in the academy, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. I am the Community Services Bureau Sergeant right now.
Okay. What does that mean?
So that means I do everything that kind of associates with the public. So all of our community events. I do our school programmings, our Smart Moves program. And I do a lot of our Facebook and Instagram. I post all that. So it's a community relations role in the police department.
How long have you been with the Sterling Heights Police Department?
So I've been with the Sterling Heights Police Department since 2007.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So you said this, when you were in the academy, this is probably not what you thought policing would be like.
Oh, no. In the academy, you're chasing the bad guy, you're catching the all the criminals and everything. And but now what I do is I show up to school events, I show up to community events, I hand out things, I educate the public.
Kind of a little bit of a celebrity within the police, especially amongst the kids.
That is.
You don't have to say yes. I will nod for you.
That's a part that was totally unexpected, and it's something that I was not prepared for at first. But I've learned to embrace it, and I totally enjoy my role right now in the community.
But it's also really important in our society today, is having a face and having someone, to associate the police with that's kind, that's community-oriented. How has that changed, too, and become a necessary part of you all doing your job?
So being one with the community is huge, and showing the community that there are different sides of the police department, the police officers, and it's breaking down the barriers, building rapport with the public, letting them know that, hey, we are part of the community and we're all in this together. So in order to solve problems, we want to include the community and the public and look at it in different ways.
And I think that's helped kind of build these strong relationships. The Sterling Heights Police Department is active in all of the events that the city happens. You just hosted the Police Night Out last couple weeks ago.
Yeah, there was the Core Family Fun Night.
Yep.
We had National Night Out. Which it rained out at the end, but we still
only thing you can't control in life is the weather. I've tried.
I know. That's that. So everything else was good to go.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, it allows us to open our doors to the community and the public and show them what we're all about. Which is we have our Citizens Police Academy, which
that's
also
a good point.
helps, which also is something that I run in the community.
Registration for that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're accepting applications now. I'll probably put out another post here this week.
Sure.
And get one more push of applications, and then we will vet. And
what is that program?
So it's a 10-week program that shows all the different aspects of the police department, and it allows the students, they actually get to use police equipment. We go to the gun range, we do taser, we do all kinds of demonstrations, and it allows them to ask questions that there's nothing off limits, and they get real answers.
So it gives you a side of, what goes on at the police department that might not be what you see on TV or might not be what that interpretation that you have.
For sure. Yeah. We have that with all the police shows, the CSIs out there. We have some misconceptions of what police really is. And so it does. It allows them to see that underneath the badge and uniform, we're human and we have families and interests and we're just, we have feelings as well.
Sure. One of the unique things that I think Sterling Heights has is our core officer program. Can you share a little bit about what that is? And other municipalities might have this, but I just know about ours.
Of course. So I don't know of any other municipalities that have this.
Okay, good. So we are on the cutting edge.
We are on the cutting edge of this. It's the Community Outreach and Resident Engagement Officers. So these are officers that work the same exact area. So Sterling Heights is broken up into 6 different sectors. So these officers stay in that area when they're on duty, and they handle things like any kind of neighbor complaints or other issues that aren't really criminal in nature. They're more of a kind of like a just the public a nuisance or quality of life issue is what we'll call them. And this way, when there are issues with like neighbors or noise complaints, these officers can come in and talk to all parties involved and come up with kind of a solution. That way, it doesn't turn to a criminal matter, and everybody can live happily amongst themselves.
They were doing some really cool stuff this summer, too, about walking with the Corps officers, visiting those neighborhood parks, making themselves, very well known to those neighbors.
Yeah, it's like they're the friendly neighborhood officer, where now it's not just some random officer that'll show up to this neighbor complaint, or now they know, like, this officer knows everything about this, so I don't have to start from square one when I'm trying to explain. And then when they see them in the neighborhood, yes, they'll stop and wave. And like I said, they build that rapport, and it's almost like, they build that relationship with the officer.
I had a business owner that we worked with that, was just having an issue with solicitors coming into the store and didn't know what to do, didn't know who to call because it's not criminal. It's not, nobody felt unsafe, but it was becoming a nuisance and becoming a nuisance to their customers. And so we had the Corps officer in the neighborhood stop by and visit. And so they now have a person that they can call, whether it's, hey, what should we do? We don't want solicitors coming in. We don't want them soliciting our customers. And so gave them some good tips on what to do. So it's, partially, too, helps our business community.
For sure. And that is part of the program, is not just the community members, like the residents. Sure. We business. We go to businesses and let them know these are things we offer, because a lot of places and people don't know the resources that the police department has. So when we do get these issues, the officer will come in and they can come up with a game plan to help curtail these issues and make sure like everybody is living happily.
And I think that's what we keep trying to do with so many of these podcasts that we've been doing, is letting people know the resources that are available in their communities, because so many people, don't know they need something until there's a problem. And so like you guys have done a great job of like getting ahead of these situations, saying, let me show you all of the resources that are available.
For sure. And that's a great thing about our social media presence right now, and the help with you. We can show the community like, hey, we do these things. We can help start a community watch program in your neighborhood. We can help with solicitors in your business this way and that way, where just we give them a number to call, which a lot of times it starts out.
Sometimes that's half the battle, is just knowing who and where to call.
Exactly. And so a lot of times it'll start out by getting an email or a phone call, which then I can direct it to the correct Corps officer. And then when they are in contact with that Corps officer, they don't get just some generic number or email. They get a person where when they call, that officer is the one who's going to answer.
So some of the other things that you do, because, I'm sure you're going to tell me your day's never the same. It's always different. But, one of the services that Sterling Heights provides to the communities is your car seat checks. Correct?
Yes, that is something that we do. And like you said, it's very rare. We get people from other jurisdictions that will drive all the way to Sterling Heights to get their car seat checked. So just so you
I've referred you to someone just recently.
Oh,
so
perfect. Thank you for that. And it is a great service that we offer, because in order to become certified in a child passenger safety technician, you have to take a week-long class just to install a car seat. Yeah. So
wow.
So there's a lot that goes to it. A lot, and it's not only.
I think I knew that it was a week-long class.
I know, right? You just have a child, and now you have to install this car seat. It's
overwhelming.
It's almost easier to have the child and all the work that goes along with the child versus the car seat. That was a joke, but
I don't know.
But so.
They give car seat classes, not parenting classes.
Very
Let's
true.
remember that.
Very true. So, yes, we will not parent your child. But not only the actual car seat install, but the amount of information that'll come along with it is priceless, because there's a lot of stuff that's not in those books, because you might be able to properly install that car seat, but the facts and the stats that go along with it just aren't in that book.
And so you talked a little bit earlier about some of your activities in the school and getting in touch with kids at a young age, and doing is it maybe it's trying to get people to get students to become a police officer, which I know you're hiring all the time, but also to educate them on some of the issues in their community. What are some of the programming that the Sterling Heights Police Department does in our schools?
So first, let me talk about that hiring thing.
Yes.
We're going to be pushing out some applications here soon.
I love it.
So if you are looking for a job in law enforcement,
I am
follow
not,
our
but
Facebook.
I will help you out. I will help you find others.
I appreciate that. So back to the school program. Yeah. So we started a program. It's called back before it was DARE.
Yes.
So you guys all know DARE.
All of us over 40.
Exactly. So what we have now is Smart Moves.
Okay.
This is what's nice about Smart Moves is we don't have to follow a curriculum that some other organization puts out. So what we've done is we came up with this 10-week-long program. We spoke with both Utica Community Schools and Warren Consolidated Schools, and we kind of figured out what issues they're seeing throughout the school district, as they move on to middle school and high school. And we designed this program to help educate the class. So it's not only about drugs and drug awareness. It's about good and healthy relationships. We cover things like vape, which is really big right now, which DARE didn't have because it wasn't around.
It wasn't around.
So and social media presence. That's some of the biggest things that we cover to help educate the children. And we do it in Utica Community Schools. It's the 6th grade.
Okay.
And Warren Con, it's the 5th grade. And the reason for this is that's the last grade until they move on to middle school or junior high. So it kind of gives them a good knowledge base of what to expect as they mature.
We talk a lot about school safety. School is, we're on summer vacation now, but school's going to be here before we know it. What are some things that you all are doing to help keep kids safe in the school?
For sure. So I want to jump back real quick to say about the program. It's not only the information; it's having that officer in the school and having those children see and build that relationship with the officer. That way, they have that positive impact. That they have that positive contact with that officer, where it helps out tremendously to know that hey, we're here to help in any way, shape, or form. So I'm sorry, what was the question?
We talk about what are we having? What's going on in the schools from a safety perspective?
For sure. So some of the things that us, we're innovative. We try to think of things to do. So we were getting a lot of issues with, we're going to go how do we get to school, which is the school bus. So some of the things that we've done with that is we've ran kind of like a sting where the officer will sit on the bus. So Officer Basin kind of organized that. We made a school bus safety video.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago,
okay.
But it's still
now for kids on the bus or for drivers that don't pay attention.
Yes. So we look at school safety as all different aspects.
Absolutely.
So as far as for the children themselves, we have school resource officers in all the high schools. So that's one way that we kind of help keep all the students safe. And then again with our Smart Moves program, so we hit them out at all angles. The only thing that we don't have right now is middle schools and junior highs, which is we're working on that as we speak. That way we have an officer presence in every single step of their education. And of course, the biggest thing with the safety is educating the children, educating the teachers and the parents. We want to consider that whole cycle. We don't want to just help one or educate one aspect. We think that it's a all-encompassing to help keep the kids safe.
One of the other unique things that I think that the Sterling Heights Police Department is involved with, and you're heading this right now, is our drug-free coalition. We talk a lot about different things going on in schools and adults, but this does impact our community at all levels. Neighbors, schools, workplaces. Talk a little bit, how did this coalition start and what do you do?
Well, first, let me say we're always looking for members.
You are.
Always looking for members for the Sterling Heights Drug-Free Coalition. So if you are interested, reach out to the police department. You can do Facebook and just say, hey, I'm interested in this coalition, which they also have their own Facebook page. But yeah, this started, Lieutenant Basnelli started this program. So he got it up and running, which it got turned over to me. He started telling me about it. And I knew that this is something that's definitely needed in the community. And he's like, he had a lot on his plate, so he said, "Hey, if it's something you're interested
There you
in,"
go.
I became a member, and then I eventually became the president. But yeah, we with the Drug Free Coalition, we kind of look at some of the issues within the community. We started out with the opioids, which was it impacted every single community across the nation, and it's not, like you said, it's you either have a family member, a friend, a neighbor. Everybody has known somebody that has dealt with these issues.
Absolutely.
So and now we're looking at vape within the community. We know that the younger generations they believe it's just a safe alternative, or it's something that they can do with no kind of repercussions. Which as time goes on, we're seeing that that's not true. So what the coalition does is we plan events and offer countless resources to the community to help educate. And for the people that are already within that cycle, we want to help them beat their addiction. So we offer resources for that as well.
And you do a good job partnering with agencies and community members and law enforcement. I mean, you've got a pretty large group that's very diverse.
Very true. And yes, we couldn't do this without the help of the police department, other community organizations like yours that, and again, like I said, this is a team effort. In a community, there's not just one entity. It's all of us as a whole that we make it as good or as bad as we want it to, which I think here in Sterling Heights, we do a great job. And so every single community member, every single partner within the coalition is what helps make it so great and it allows us to do the things that we're doing.
And I think it's a great way to share resources that's somewhat in a non-threatening way, is that people can get involved. There's information sharing. There's, resources that are provided to folks where you're very open and you're very accepting of anyone wherever they need support from.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, we know that. So like the opioid pandemic, it hit poor, rich, black, white. It didn't matter. So and again, like I said, people just don't know the resources that are out there, whether it be Narcan or classes, any kind of classes to help to educate. And it's not just for the person suffering from the addiction, it's the family and friends. We help empower them to help their loved one and give the family and friends resources.
And I think one of the best things is most of the resources that you provide are free.
Exactly. Yes. So it's a totally nonprofit.
Free Narcan,
everything
and there's free trainings and free resources that, you do a great job of educating folks to know that it's even out there. Yeah, for sure. And like you said, and being free, that's part, it's free because of all the partners and the help where, we all want to tackle this together. One of the things that the Drug Free Coalition does every year, which I think is just remarkable, is your Orange Balloon Night. Can you share a little bit about what that is?
So,
did I call it the right name?
It's Black Balloon.
Black Balloon. Oh,
I know.
I'm so sorry.
Orange, black. It's like a Halloween theme.
Orange is...
Yes. So it's Black Balloon.
Yes.
So this is a day it's a national holiday or national Remembrance Day. Anybody who's lost a loved one to any kind of addiction. So they fly a black balloon, which aren't released into the public.
Correct.
They fly a black balloon that indicates that person has lost a loved one. And at this event, it's usually held at a church, and we have some guest speakers that come there. And at this, we also offer the resources, the Narcan education, the counseling, the any kind of resources, because these are again our partners are Beaumont, Fan, Care, you guys. We get resources there to help educate, and with the guest speakers. And one of the big things with this, which makes it so powerful, is it shows that people aren't alone, because a lot of times they feel like they're alone in this, where they're the only ones who are dealing with somebody that they love that's dealing with addiction, where they see that there's so many people out there and there's so many different walks. It's, like I said, there's people from different parts of the community that suffer the same.
So I think one of the things that always shocks me every year, is I've been a couple of times, is that this continues to grow, continues to be a problem. People continue to share their stories. And like you said, it's young, it's old, suburban, urban, rich and poor. You see all the faces of these families that are suffering, and they build a community too amongst themselves.
Yes. So the disease of addiction, it doesn't have any. It can go to anybody at any time. And like you said, it grows. There at these events, we have these banners with pictures of loved ones. And yes, every year we need to make more space because those banners keep growing and growing. And another part that's so powerful is it puts a face to this addiction. And then just to see the pain and everything that people are going through. And I guess if you want to take something positive, is people are learning from this, yeah. And the people that have died because of the overdose, they are helping educate, and they are doing, and the families are doing their part in trying to stop this. So even though it is growing, I think we are having a positive impact.
And what are some of the long-term goals of the coalition? What are some, big pie-in-the-sky dreams that you hope to this commission wants to pull together?
So obviously we want to always increase our membership, but I know I don't want to be unrealistic to say we're gonna take every single opioid out of Sterling Heights and every single vape out of Sterling Heights. The biggest thing that we want to do as the coalition is educate. That way, when people do make that decision, they have every single bit of information that they have before they make that decision. And also to know that even if they don't have to make that decision, where if they need somebody to talk to, they need resources to help stop their addiction, that they have it within the Drug-Free Coalition.
And the resources are available to them, regardless.
Regardless, yes. And like you said, it's free of charge. We have countless free resources, whether it be the counseling or the Narcan, the education to help get off whatever their addiction is.
I think, we're just Sterling Heights continues not only with the Drug-Free Coalition, being in the schools, the core officers, we continue to be a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of policing.
Oh, yes, with the administration from, the council members, the city manager, Chief Wojciechowski. That's what we pride ourselves on. We want to be on that cutting edge, and we want to give our community every single resource that they could possibly think of to help fight anything, whether it be their drug addiction or the neighbor complaints, everything from as serious as overdose death to neighbors having lawn clippings that aren't theirs on their owners. We want to be on that cutting edge and help with every single possible resource, because one thing that we see is whether it's that neighbor with the grass clipping or death and overdose, each problem is their individual problem. So that neighbor with the grass clippings, that's
and it's so important to them.
Yes, it is
so important to them.
It is. So if it's important to them, it's important to us.
What's next? What's going to be the next, latest, and greatest at the Sterling Heights Police Department?
Next and greatest, I think. I know we're talking. So we have 2 community services bureau officers now, which those are brand new. Never had anybody under my command to help with all these fun projects. Probably nobody crazy enough to do them. But I think we're going to come up with some kind of a big project. But we're putting our heads together. Some kind of. So when we did that school bus video, that was a big hit. But I think our next big thing is some kind of video, something outside of normal thinking, normal police work.
I like it.
To help bring the community in.
Okay, so for everybody that's listening, if they see a school bus with a stop sign, what do? They do
what the sign tells them to, and they stop. So
because what happens if they don't? It's a very expensive ticket.
It is a very expensive ticket. So here's one thing that you may not know, that if a school bus driver does see you pass them, if we get their license plate, our traffic bureau will follow up on that and actually issue the tickets where they belong. So just because you don't see a police officer there, you're not in the clear.
So as we go to this back to school season, I think that's always something we talk about, but it's important. I see it happen every day on my drive to work.
You do, and you will continue, but hopefully in Sterling Heights is a little less because, like I said, we're going to do our stings where the officer will ride the bus. We'll probably play that school bus video a few times also, so keep an eye out for that one.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much, and thank you for all that you and the Sterling Heights Police Department do to keep ourselves and our businesses and our community safe. It's a thankless job, I know, but we appreciate all that you do. But thanks for being on here this morning with me and kind of educating all of us a little bit about what's out there.
For sure, and thank you for having me. And like I said, it's the entire community.
Teamwork effort.
Yes, it is. So.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us on this week's Chamber Connection, and we will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Chamber Connection. Be sure to check out information on the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce website, our Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We look forward to you connecting with us and tuning in next week.